they're getting ready because we're doing dinner. We're doing dinner after this.
You're on.
And I don't want them to be walking around naked in the background. We are, here they are. We are live. Let's go, baby. I'm really excited for this show. Hey, Jeff Ulrich. Jeff Ulrich and
Great
Nick
stuff.
Fryer. And Nick Fryer. Hey, Nick. Nick, settle down for me a little bit. I do want to, just if anyone's new to this award-winning Wednesday edition of The Slate, I want everyone to meet Nick Fryer if you don't watch The Sweat of the Slate, because he's going to be with us now on Wednesdays because Reed quit on us.
Right.
And he has moved away. He's doing stuff for Amazon now. So we're bringing in someone who's even better. That's what we're doing. All right. We're bringing in another all-star, and it's damn good to have you part of the hump day tradition here.
Man, you got me crying now. I'm in tears over here.
I know you are.
Exactly what the reasoning is. Maybe it's because you're complimenting me because you're just a clown. I don't know.
Quiet. Be
but
quiet.
Anyways, I'm ready to talk football with you too. Do I have to golf now? Do I have to learn golf? What do you do with that?
You know, it would actually help because
it would. I mean, right now, I consider Nick kind of on like an intern status. So you know, if you could learn some golf, stuff like that, then we could definitely promote you to full time. But
you know what? I'm coming on Wednesday when it's a full basketball split. Granted, I don't have a pick today because we're doing all football stuff. I listen to producer Eamon because he's the absolute best. And despite what Emerson says off screen,
now sucking up to producers. Okay.
But you don't have any football on Wednesdays. I mean, basketball on Wednesdays. So I'm bringing you this, and now I'm on interim basis. What's you in charge, Jeff?
Well, I mean, listen, he's a veteran here. He's
a
veteran,
I am the longest tenured employee at DraftKings. So
I'd show a little bit more respect for Jeff. He's quite powerful, despite being north of the border and a million miles away from us. He is powerful. So, anywho, producer Eamon behind the scenes, TP on the ones and twos, back in our studios, and we have to start, gentlemen, with this Thursday night game tomorrow night. It's a big one. In the AFC East, so you got the Bills right now. You got in town visiting the Patriots. So this was originally, Nick, this thing was, I think, 4.5 points, like the spread.
It was 5 points.
It was 5, Jeff. Okay, good stuff. So now down to 3.5 right now. So I actually brought this up to Tom and Eamon before you guys joined. I go, man, and I'll be at the game tomorrow night. I said, I feel like the Bills are just going to absolutely stomp the Patriots. But I don't know. What do you think? What side of this spread do you fall on right now?
I mean, generally you would think, it's going to be the Bills are going to take care of business. No questions asked, but there's a lot when I look at this and I'm like, looking at the market movement and everything, especially, it's like, I kind of got to lean Patriots here. I mean, right now they're only getting 24% of the bets at plus 3.5, but they're getting 37% of the handle. So that's telling us that the sharps are in on the Patriots right now. And again, we're at the key number right now where it's not 3 even. They're getting that extra half point. And then also we look at some of the other Patriots numbers too. 3-0-1 against the spread after a loss. 3-2 against the spread at home. The Bills look at what happened on Thanksgiving too. I know it's on short rest or everything, but it's just like, that's against the Lions. And look, the Lions have plenty of offensive talent, sure. But on the other side of the ball, they lack a lot of stuff. And the Bills still only won that game by 3. And then the Bills are 3-4 ATS after a win, 2-3-1 ATS on the road. So, everything other than the actual number itself, everything is pointing me towards the Patriots in this one. I don't love 3.5, just other than getting that extra point, getting away from the field goal. But other than that, yes, it's unsettling, but everything's leading me towards this route.
Jeff, the Patriots can stop the run, right? The Patriots can stop the run, but Josh Allen presents a different challenge, with his mobility here. And not to mention, New England's only averaged 71 rushing yards per game in its last 3 games. The Patriots aren't playing great football right now. They just happen to play the Jets twice recently.
They played pretty good against the Vikings too. They probably should have won that game on the road. Mac Jones maybe had his best game as a pro. This again, obviously you had to like the Patriots more at +5, and now that it's moved, I don't necessarily think that you have to jump on them. But there's not that much difference between +5 and +3.5 either. We're talking about a pretty key number in 3, not a pretty key number, a very key number in 3 points. So getting over 3.5. I mean, if you like the Patriots, you should still go on it. I think that you make a good point about Josh Allen. I mean, would I be shocked if the Bills like win this game? No, but would I also be shocked if the Patriots keep this game close again and make Josh Allen, win like on the last play of the drive or last play of the game or something? Wouldn't be shocked at that either. So I guess I'm kind of with Nick. I don't really like this. It's just there's so much going on, but it's the NFL. It's late in the season. You got a bunch of Bills, illness going around their locker room, a big injury report, and it's just not really a good scenario. So
was that still big today? Did they have an injury report today? Because I know the first couple of days of the week there were a lot of dudes on there with some kind of illness. This mystery illness, right?
Yeah, and it's like it's still they're still listed there. I mean, I don't think that everyone got healthy in the span of 24 hours. So at the very least, you may have guys playing through illness. And again, like the spread, the money, again, Nick already talked about this, but where the money is going to, like, seems like you have a lot of money coming on the Bills, but like the spread is moving in the other direction. So, I would lean Patriots here as well. It's definitely not like my favorite spread of the week or anything, but you're asking me which side, I'll just take the points as long as it stays over 3 with New England.
But Nick, like I'm looking at numbers here. So Bills 3-0-1 ATS in the last 4 trips to New England here. But I could also see like first meeting of the season producing typical tight like division results, right? And maybe Mac Jones playing a little better. So Jeff made a good point. He did play well against the Vikings, so maybe he can emulate that performance. And then I don't know if the rushing attack can step up a little bit here because again, 73 yards at an average a game last 3 weeks. That's not gonna do it against the Bills defense. It's not gonna get it cut.
No, it's not. And I would like to see. I'm a Billy Zappi fan personally. When you look at the two, but
me too.
But I do want to see Mac Jones stay in this game because there is a play that I want him to hit on. And I'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, when you look at this, the total too on this one, right? It's still at 43.5. Yeah, so 43.5 right now. And again, the under. It's not getting a lot of the percentage of bets, but it is getting quite a bit of the handle too. 29% of the bets, 41% of the handle. And then when you look at the Bills with the unders 8-3-1 in Bills games, 6-5 in Patriots games. And then the big one for me too, I respect what you're talking about too, Emerson, when you look like past this season, but we've got enough of a sample size now where I care about what's going on now. And the big number that I'm seeing, I think I'm leaning more towards the under if you're picking between this and the spread, because the under is 5-0 for the Patriots and Bills combined in their AFC East games this season. So, I mean, that's where I'm leaning for there.
Yeah. So, because Jeff, which way are you leaning? Because we all know Buffalo's got plenty of skin, like in this matchup here, because they're trying to look to keep pace with the Dolphins with that division lead, and I don't know. I think the Patriots in the end could have too many coverage issues here to contain Josh Allen and all those dudes out wide.
Yeah, I definitely lean towards the under as well. If you're just talking about the totals, I think New England at home is just a little bit different team, play a little bit different defense, or a little bit more effective in the rush game as well. I think what you saw against Minnesota was just a product of who they were going up against. You go back the couple weeks before, the defense was really good against the Jets as well. Obviously, it's a completely different matchup. There's no Zach Johnson on the other side. So, or Zach Johnson. Zach Wilson on the other side.
You're talking about Zach Johnson right now?
I just about called him Zach Taylor, and then I corrected myself, and I'm like, no, it's Zach Johnson.
Who was it?
I can't even get the guy. Who cares? You know what? He's not even in the NFL.
Vet, right, Emerson? That's what you said?
What happened? Who'd you call Taylor Swift like 5 times on this show before? You called someone Taylor Swift 5 times on this show.
Taylor Twellman?
You did it recently too. Over on the Sweat like last week.
DeAndre Swift?
No.
Sorry,
was it Paris Campbell? Was it Paris Campbell and Paris Hilton that I did?
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It's the same thing. Paris Hilton, Taylor Swift's the same thing.
Thank God T.Y. Hilton's not on the Colts anymore. Yeah. No Zach Wilson, the quarterback, to deal with. Obviously, it's Josh Allen. So I would lean under here with Nick, with the Patriots being at home as well.
Nick, did you kind of tease that you had like a prop or something for this game you really like?
Yeah, I got 2 player props that I like a lot in this one. One on the Patriots side, one on the Bills side, but both kind of backing the defenses more so. Mac Jones throwing an interception. Last I checked, I think it was at -145. So obviously you're laying a little bit of juice here. I do have a way that you can make it a little bit more valuable, but he's thrown an interception in 5 games. I know he hasn't thrown one in the last 3. But that's kind of like at some point that's got to give. And then you look at the Bills too. They forced in their first, I think it was their first 10 games, they forced an interception 8 times, at least one interception. And they haven't forced an interception in their last 2 games. So again, you got 2 things where like 2 trends where they at some point these got to come to an end because they were so consistent early in the season. I understand adjustments were made, but I still don't trust either those trends to maintain themselves. If you want to make this a little bit more profitable, but of course, again, a little more risky, Josh Allen and Mac Allen, you got me doing it now, Jeff. Mac Jones, parlay them together, same game parlay function. That brings up to plus 140, I believe, on that play if they both throw an interception. If you want to just do one, I go Mac Jones, but I think they're both reasonable.
What is hold on, Jeff? What's Josh Allen's rushing yards prop? Because
let's see.
You think about his arm not being 100%. The dude typically runs all over the Patriots. And I'm seeing here only 5 other teams are allowing more quarterback rushing yards per game than New England. And you've had guys like, so it's 42.5. So you've had guys like Zach Wilson, Sam Ehlinger, Justin Fields have all led their team in rushing against the Patriots over the last 5 games.
It's a good play. I mean, I was going to bring up Devin Singletary's prop as well. But you know, like what have we seen from the Bills the last couple of weeks? I mean, this isn't like a short-term trend anymore. They're clearly Josh Allen's elbow isn't right. Like it's not right. They're going to run the ball a little bit more here, and I think it's fine that they can. I think they can do that. They've proven that they can do that. So I wouldn't be shocked if both these guys went over. Again, you're talking about same game parlays. You can put Singletary and Josh Allen as overs and you know go from there. So, but I think that Allen's. I'm actually surprised it's not a little bit higher, to be honest. I was expecting more of like a 44.5 prop, 45-ish range. So 42.5. This will probably go up by game time. I think people will get onto this a little bit. I'm definitely behind that one. I'm actually surprised at all the totals on these on these Buffalo RBs and quarterback props because I think you'll see them go up from here.
I mean, hell, his passing yards prop is down like 10 yards on the season average, and that's probably due to his elbow issues. Although, if you guys watched that game last week, like he had it was a slow start, but had some incredible darts that he threw in the second half. And that one to Stephon Diggs when they got the ball back with like 23 seconds to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a ginormous big balls throw by a dude who we all know his arm is not 100%.
But I got to go back to what Jeff's saying about the Singletary prop. Because I actually was hoping you were on the opposite side of that, Jeff, because that's where I am right now. I'm actually taking the under on was 52.5. But I do think you raised a great point about Josh Allen. Like I think going with the over there is a smart play for all the reasons that you highlighted, actually. But when you look at Singletary, yes, obviously his role has changed since the start of the season, and with everything that's going on with Josh Allen, he's going to get more attempts. So it does stand to reason that he could, have a good rushing game. But when you look at what the Patriots have done against opposing running backs, for all the issues they're having with quarterbacks running backs, I mean, they've held running backs under this. I think it's I think it's 6 of their 11 games. Yeah, 6 of their 11 games. 6 running backs have done it, but there were 2 running backs that did it once at the same time. It was that atrocious Chicago game. And Singletary, too, he's only gone over his rushing prop in 6 of his 11 games. So it's what, one time that he's got one more he's gone over. And he's only gone over this number 3 times all season long. So again, I know his role's changed, so maybe that last stat isn't quite as relevant, but all those other things, I'm looking at the Patriots and it's like, they do pretty well against opposing running backs.
Yeah, my only thing with Singletary is his snap count is up over the last few weeks. It's not that I love his over. 100%. It's not like I wouldn't call it a crazy, awesome smash prop. But his prop last week was 57.5. He went over it, and now we're getting a lower number. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think like a lot of what you said is kind of baked into this number. Like I think this number is actually it's a smidge too low. If it was like 45, 54.5, 55.5, yeah, I'd probably be on the other side. But until it gets up like a yard or two, I still think like the volume, either you lay off or go the over at this number for me. But you're right. Sure. Like it's kind of a weird situation. I think the Josh Allen over is better play for sure. Yeah, Josh Allen definitely. We know is going to take off. The running back's a little bit more of a guessing game. They're mixing in James Cook a little bit too. So
I think that's fair point on Allen. It's definitely the better play of the two.
Jeff, looking at Unless you guys have anything else sportsbook wise about this game, we could hit a little bit of DFS before we go back to sportsbook for like the main slate. You guys want to do that? Does that sound cool?
Good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have a ton more about this game. I mean,
Okay.
I think that if you're going to play the under on the total, you might want to look at like a couple under plays, throw it on the player props as well.
Okay.
Like, I'm just looking. Like Isaiah McKenzie's props are up. That might be a good one to hit as an under. But again, like we're not getting huge props to begin with either. So yeah, it's one of those games where I think it's going to be close defensive. I think lots of rushing on both sides potentially as well, and it's a lower scoring game. Definitely like the under call.
Okay, so then like in terms of DFS and the showdown tomorrow night, there is a $1.5 million Thursday night showdown. So 500 grand to first place. If everyone watching wants to get in on that, what is it? Just $15 to enter. Obviously, Josh Allen, the most expensive there, followed by Diggs. And then you've got Stevenson, Jones, and Gabe Davis. Is there an obvious captain play for you, Jeff? Is there one way you're leaning? What's your strategy here?
I mean, whenever Josh Allen is involved, there's an obvious captain's play, obviously. So
but you got to put him in the captain spot, you think?
It's definitely shaping up as one of those slates where the other options other than Josh Allen aren't very appealing, aren't as nearly anywhere near appealing, and there aren't very many of them either. Like I don't even know, like Mac Jones had a nice game, but asking him to kind of like outperform Josh Allen against a really good defense, that seems like a tough ask. I think Mac Jones has some potential. He can run a little bit too if he sneaks one in or something. It's potentially gets up to like 25 points. And again, I like the way Mac Jones has looked the last couple games. So yeah. I think that he's viable. I think that the one people will look to is obviously Ramondre Stevenson, who's really turned it up as a pass catching back. And obviously just look at the game chart, the 10 targets, but it's been a trend. The Patriots have been going to this guy consistently. And whenever you have a back who I don't know if you could call Stevenson a bell cow because he's not getting like the 20 carries, but like whenever you have a back who's kind of locked into 12, 15 carries and then getting all the passing down work, that's good enough, especially in a full PPR format. So Stevenson is really the other option there. I think Mac Jones would be like the sort of more contrarian play that I'd consider. And I'm not really sure. I don't know if this is good. You could think about the Buffalo receivers as well, but I don't know if there's enough like upside there for me. Gabe Davis probably and Steph Diggs, but I would probably rank them Allen, Stevenson, and then Mac Jones. Just, again, hoping for like a multi-touchdown game. Maybe Mac Jones gets a little bit of rushing upside too, but it's really Stevenson or Allen for me.
Yeah, I like Nick. I would almost consider Stevenson like a must play on the Patriots side, like with Damian Harris out. And let's see, since week 3, he's averaged more than 20 touches per game, including more than 5 catches a game. So in this full PPR format, like on DraftKings, he is pretty much a must play because even if he doesn't score, he's going to get you close to 15 points thanks to yards and catches. So I think you fade him at your own risk.
Yeah, I mean, because when we look at this one, I mean, there's only Josh Allen, Mac Jones are the only 2 guys we know are going to be touching the ball on every offensive position. After that, who's going to be getting the most looks? It's no question that it's going to be Ramondre Stevenson. It's not. It's like some games, you may be able to debate it in certain ways. I mean, Stephon Diggs is going to get some looks, but even then, he's still not going to get as many opportunities as Stevenson is going to get. So yeah, I still think that you got to go with Allen. I think Jeff was spot on there, but with Stevenson, you got to find a way to weasel him in because obviously he's the 3rd most expensive guy on the slate. If you're going to go and put Allen as your captain, it's going to be tough. But I think one way, if you're looking for value on this a little bit, I tend to try and look towards the kickers if there's an opportunity and then talk myself off it. And I think Folk, I mean, you're looking at some of the numbers he's been putting up and you got him going up against tough defense too. What
the weather? I was going to say is the weather's looking fine tomorrow.
Weather's
night,
fine.
Right?
Yep, I was checking that.
This isn't going to be like that hurricane game where they threw the ball only twice like last year here.
No,
right? Was that here or Buffalo?
That was Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, no, I checked that one too before looking at any of the sportsbook stuff too. But yeah, I think Folk is a way you can make a significant impact here. Yeah, so if you're looking for a little bit of value too, again, I think maybe Pierce will go over a cheap tight end that you can throw to that's like negative $200 or something like that. But Folk will be pretty good at 4K, I think.
Okay, and then all right, so let's go back. Let's go main slate. Sportsbook. And spreads wise, not too many big ones on the board. A few that are around a touchdown, only one double-digit spread, and that's Sunday night. Colts, Cowboys. Jeff, what's the most intriguing spread to you here? What's the most intriguing game?
Yeah, so for me, I got a couple games that I really like.
Okay.
And I mean, like the first one to me is just, just taking the Bengals. Just taking them on the spread as underdogs. I mean, I think that they win this game outright. I think they're really like this line to me. It's rare that we see like later in the season lines that I just think are wrong. But like I don't think that the Bengals should be underdogs in this game. I mean, you're basically saying that the Chiefs, who they beat in the playoffs last year, and now with the Bengals potentially getting Jamar Chase back as well, are like at home underdogs, like a 2-point underdogs, now 1.5. But Joe Burrow has just been an absolute cover machine. 22-10 since the beginning of 2021 ATS are the Bengals. Obviously, Joe Burrow the starter in all those games, and the Bengals just proved something to me last week. I think that was maybe one of their biggest wins as a franchise. They go into Tennessee in a windy game with no Joe Mixon, no Jamar Chase, and they beat the Tennessee Titans, who had been really good on defense of late. They got Derrick Henry. And they kept Joe Burrow upright against a good pass rush. And they kind of dominated that game. They just took control. Joe Burrow is playing. I don't think he's getting enough credit right now for how well he's playing. You take away those 2 games against the Steelers, man, and like there's like nothing.
Yeah, and without Jamar Chase, I mean, although he's had T. Higgins step up.
And I mean, like the Chiefs are great. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but this is a team who they don't have any like wide receivers that are going to burn us here. I know, like if you can just limit Travis Kelce, I think the Bengals win this game outright. I really do. So they're my favorite bet on the board right now. I'm going right back to Joey B. And then I'm going to go with the Chargers here too. And there's a couple different reasons I like this, but the main thing is people are a little too hyped up here over this Josh Jacobs game. It's a great game. Jacobs is really banged up. He had 30, like almost 40 touches last week. He strained his calf at the end of that game. In games where Josh Jacobs doesn't get 17 or more carries, the Raiders are averaging 15.5 points this year. So if he doesn't go or he's limited, this offense ain't going to get it done. Justin Herbert also just destroys the Chargers. He's averaging about 305 yards and 2.6 passing touchdowns against the Raiders over his career. So I think this line's too small. Give me the Chargers here as well.
Going back to that Chiefs Bengals game too, Nick, let's see. Bengals have covered 75% of their home games this season. That's second best percentage in the NFL too. Is that on your list? Maybe most intriguing games?
It wasn't, but okay. For intriguing games in general, from like just a viewer perspective, yes, I think that Jeff.
That's top of the weekend.
Right, but in terms of the picks that I like the most right now, I do like the Steelers. You probably take them straight up to. There's a little bit more value there. They're the slight underdogs going up against the Falcons. Big thing for me is I know Najee Harris got the ab thing, and I don't fully trust that, but I believe Warren just said today that he's going to be like he's good to come back or he's close to coming back. Something to that end too, and how the defense has looked. I mean, I'm coming off of I know it's a short week, but with the Falcons, I know earlier in the year, obviously they were great against the spread and everything like that, but I don't trust them as favorites right now. And Mariota's been a valuable play in some ways for fantasy because he still puts up some numbers, but at the same time, like you can't trust that guy. So I think that things are going too, and they did all what they did against the Colts too, without Pickett, putting up these big numbers. Not that he ever really puts up some decent numbers here and there, but another sub 200-yard game. So I like them against the Falcons. I would just take them money line. I'm not even worried about getting that extra point. Obviously, I have +1 to pick them. But then another one too. I mean, we talked talking about the Colts too. We're looking at the Sunday night game. I think I'm gonna go with the Colts. That plus money too. Yes, yeah. That at that sizable number. I like that one. And then the other one too was the Titans.
What was that number too? Sorry, just quickly. That number on the Colts game, that went from it was either 8.5 or 9. So it's moved 2 points just off that one.
Holy
game.
hell!
So
yeah, well,
it's moved a lot. I'm kind of with Nick there now that it's past 10.
Yeah,
like the Colts defense is still really good. Their D line is anyways, especially. So yeah, we need like a decent game out of Matt Ryan, but Jonathan Taylor could also control. So yeah, I just wanted,
Yeah.
So
I gotta agree. I think you plug your nose and you take the points there. So.
Yes, but and the big thing too, looking at this, when you look at the total right now, it's at what, 43.5, Jeff, if I'm seeing that correctly on your screen. Looking at the market movement, because right now the public is with the Cowboys, but there's no real indication of where the sharps are going on that one. But when you look at the total, right now, 44% of the bets are going towards the under, but they're getting 59% of the handle too. So sharps are on the under there. I like that play, that double-digit play, a whole lot more at that point.
I mean, I see the Colts trying to stay in this game with plenty of Jonathan Taylor like pounding the rock, but eventually, like, I don't know, Dak Prescott is a couple running backs there, and then Matt Ryan is going to get destroyed against this Dallas defense and that pass rush, man.
If they get behind, I mean, let's, again, I think that this is, in a weird way, it's kind of like the team that could give the Cowboys the most trouble, because you have another team that's good against the run that could potentially just, force the Cowboys into a few quick 3-and-outs. You have another team who's got a good running back, and good running backs. What do? They do neutralize other teams' pass rushes. So, like, in a way, I think it's a kind of a bad matchup for Dallas. It doesn't mean Dallas is going to lose this game. I don't think that. But I do think that you could see the Colts potentially just make this a slow-paced game. If they can put together a complete drive early, they get up, and then they start, their defense can go to work a little bit and force the Cowboys, who sometimes just get a little bit too reliant on that run. They want to run the ball, but then they run it too many times, and all of a sudden it's like 3rd and 8, and then it's a 3-and-out. And you kind of saw it in the early game against the Giants. So I just think it's too many points. And but it's again, we'll see how the rest of the Sunday goes before we get to the Sunday night game. How confident I actually am. It's still Matt Ryan, like we said. That could go terribly as well.
So we got about 5 minutes or so left to go in the shot. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this Broncos-Ravens game.
Oh dear God!
And it's a little, it feels a little tricky, right? So now it's 8.5. Ravens 8.5 point favorites here. They haven't covered the spread, I believe, once at home this season, but I don't know, like the defense here, Nick. The Ravens defense went back to having major lapses, especially against the pass, against like Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars here. But there's not a threat. There's like nothing to worry about there with like Russell Wilson and this evaporating Broncos offense, is there? Would you take the points here? Like, are you back? Would you back the Ravens?
I'm excited to hear how Jeff's going to find a way to defend Russell Wilson again. Much like you managed to find a way to ask this question just so you could talk about Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, the Panthers were like my top pick last week. Okay, I'm not defending anybody.
I know. I did forget how Jeff is totally sick of talking about the Broncos.
I am.
Is this?
Oh, Nick, tell us who you're going to bet, Nick. Hurry up.
I just think I'm staying away from this one right now. I think it's a gross number. I don't like it. Like for the Ravens. I mean, look, the Broncos. Yeah, okay. I don't trust them whatsoever. But it's just a matter of the Ravens going to make some mistakes, because it seems that they tend to do that. So no, right now this is a stay away game for me.
I actually think this is a game. You take the Broncos. I actually would not be shocked if the Broncos popped up here and won this game outright.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it's gross. The Broncos secondary, the Broncos are going to be teeing off in this game. What do they have to worry about on the outside? They already have an elite pass defense. There's nobody that's going to hurt them. All they have to do is shut down Mark Andrews. They have the coverage guys to do that. Then you're just forcing Lamar to move the ball with the rush, and like the rushing attack wasn't that great in the last game. You've got a secondary that can't stop anybody. Russell Wilson kind of just at a point where things can't get any worse. Let's just go out and chuck it around. I would not be shocked if the Broncos, and this is not an endorsement, got to like 23 points for which is like
team that can't put up more than 12 points. Averaging 12 points last 3 games. Get the hell out of it.
Points is like 100 points for a normal NFL team for the Broncos. So, but I would not be shocked if they ended up, they got a couple big plays in this game, and then their defense just kind of held the Ravens, who just can't move the ball. They scored 13 points 2 weeks ago against the Panthers. The Broncos are they're better defense than the Panthers, man. I think it's a tricky spot, and definitely want to take the points, and won't be shocked if you see an upset here either.
Gentlemen, 3 games have a total north of 50 points. Chargers at the Raiders, Chiefs at the Bengals, and America's team, the Jaguars at the Lions. Which one would you be most confident in taking the over on, Jeff?
This is tough because if Josh Jacobs was playing and
Yeah.
healthy, I would definitely go Chargers
Wait,
Raiders.
so is he definitely out? Because like he's
not definitely out, but he's
a couple of my
limited.
fantasy
They're
teams.
resting him.
Okay.
And
that's fine. He's gonna be fine.
Yeah, but my concern is he's okay, and then he plays like 12 snaps, and then I'm going to say Jags Lions. I think that the offense is there. You look at the offenses of both those teams; they're both like above average in offensive DVOA and pass and rush, and their defenses. Well, the Jags rush defense is okay. The Jags pass defense like bottom 5. The Detroit stinks still at everything. They've improved a little bit, but they're not that good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the offenses probably get it done here. I think that, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamal Williams, maybe the ghost of DeAndre Swift shows up, but I think the Lions can do enough, and Trevor Lawrence playing well. I'll take the over here and trust these two teams. I think the offense is the way better units than the defense in that game.
Yeah, it's kind of like we talked a little bit this morning about on the show this morning, Jeff. And when I made the comment to Pierce, I think this may be a little more about the defenses and the offenses. And the offenses are playing good. It's just you look on the other side. Lions give up the most points of any team in the NFL, and then the Jags have given up more than 900 yards of offense to their opponents the last 2 weeks. What do you think,
These
Nick?
two teams still have a little hope too. Like they still got a little something to play for.
Dude. And for the Jaguars, they're pumping a little bit of nerves into the Titans right now because this kind of reminds me a lot of the 96 season with the Jaguars, man. Took them to the last week to get in. And they also still have the Titans twice on their schedule, twice in December. All right? Okay?
Okay.
Go ahead, Nick.
I tend to agree too with what Jeff's saying about this. Detroit is the one. What is it? Set they're 7-4. The total is the over 7-4 in Detroit games this season.
Okay.
Jacksonville on the road. The over is 4-1. So
yeah, because they were bad at that was one of our points on the Sunday show last week, is they've been bad at that at home, but not necessarily on the road. Yeah, because they pistol whip the Chargers like earlier in the season. So it's gonna be another one of those games, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And then looking at like some of the market movement on these two, I mean, the public seems to be pretty heavy on the Chiefs game and then the Lions Jags game, both hitting the over. But with this Jaguars Lions game, the reason why I like it a little bit more just from a market perspective, 65% of the bets. So again, public's on it, but 81% of the handle too. So there is a level of like sharp money that's going in on this one hitting the over too. So I think if you're going to take the over on one of these three, that has to be the play.
Okay. Jags are 4-7 right now. So Jags are 4-7, which means you have 6 games left. At the Lions, win. At the Titans, win. Home against the Cowboys, loss. At the Jets, win. At the Texans, win. Home against the Titans, win. They will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They will go 5-1 over the last 6 games.
Yeah,
the Jags then will finish 9-8.
Beat the Jets with the best defense in the league. It's fine, man. They'll do it.
I'm telling you, Jeff. Right
Mike
now,
White,
I'm
the new
telling
Brett Favre. Yeah, no problem.
That's right. And remember, Brett Favre threw a lot of interceptions, and Brett Favre only won 1 Super Bowl.
Hey, it is true. They do have the Titans twice. And that's kind of a tough schedule for them.
No, it's not though, dude. It's not.
Okay.
All right, we gotta go. Right? Do we have to go, producer Raymond? Let me know. Pike, are you still there? Who's in Simland after this? All right, forget it. Pike fell asleep.
Oh, it's too bad.
Guys,
Sim's aren't even on this shit. Like, what? Aren't they?
Pike is behind the scenes. TP's on the 1s and 2s. He fell asleep. He's
all that Jaguars talk.
No, it's not. It's all the snacks he's been stuffing in his face at the snack wall at DraftKings. All right, we got to go. You guys are awesome. And thanks, Eamon and TP. Love you guys. See everyone in studio tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time, the Sweat. See you there, Jeff. Sorry, Nick, you're not on the show.
No.
Didn't make the cut.
Loser.